Two people detained after making bomb threats at the airport in St. Lucia. And in sport, West Indies crushed Sri Lanka to take the lead in their test series. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Monday, June 11th. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Coming up this month on Caribbean Passport, romance, crop over in Barbados, carnival in Antigua and Barbuda, tourism issues, and so much more. So get your passports ready and let's travel.
See wonderland in your eyes. Might need your company tonight. I know you're dying to meet me, but I can just tell you this, baby, as soon as you meet me.
We begin in St. Lucia, where police have questioned two French nationals after they claimed a bomb had been placed at the George F.L. Charles Airport, which caused the facility to be evacuated. Eyewitnesses said the unidentified man and woman had earlier raised an objection to paying extra for overweight baggage as they prepared to board an Air Caraïbes flight to the neighboring French island of Martinique. Despite being cautioned, the pair continued to make assertions about explosives on the airport tarmac. The police were informed and a bomb disposal team was dispatched to the airport. Passengers' bags was searched while the airport was placed on a lockdown that lasted 2 hours, but no explosive devices were found. Over in Trinidad and Tobago, Member of Parliament for Laventille West, Fitzgerald Hines, says he would support the implementation of a state of emergency in that community. His comments come against the background of a rising murder toll, even as government assures efforts are being made to deal with the problem. We get more in this CNC3 news report.
There's a collective outcry for the bloodshed to end as this country's murder rate rages unabated. The recent triple murder in Laventille, in which a 16-year-old boy was among those killed, has the Member of Parliament for the area calling for
far more intense, sustained efforts in terms of operations for as long as it takes, as rough as it might be, until we bring the situation under control. That's what I would like to see.
Fitzgerald Hines is not shying away from the imposition of a state of emergency, a move which has previously been labelled as controversial.
If that becomes necessary in the view of the police commissioner and so on, I would support that, because in Laventille that I represent, there are many, many illegal firearms, but it is not only Laventille. It is now all over Trinidad and Tobago, and wherever the intelligence tells them that they need to do it, I would support that, to lock it down and to go in there and attend to it.
But with the public clamouring for answers and accountability, the Laventille West MP says there is room for improvement as he zeroed in on the various arms of law enforcement.
I think the police organization can do more. I acknowledged that they are doing, but I have a suspicion that, like most other organizations in this country, the entire police organization is not firing on all cylinders.
Meanwhile, Hines is standing by the recently proclaimed anti-gang bill and maintains it will make a dent in crime fighting.
A backlash from businesses in Bermuda has forced the government to ease back on a new 75% sugar tax. Health Minister Kim Wilson told the House of Assembly that the tax will now be introduced in stages. The modified legislation gives local businesses such as bakeries a break from the high tariff. It now proposes a new duty rate of 50% on sugar to start on October 1st. The authorities say the 75% rate will be introduced in April next year. The health minister said the changes were adopted after further consultation and feedback. Some businesses had argued that the tax on high sugar products would hit their profits and encourage shoppers to buy even worse food alternatives than homemade baked goods. Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley is this morning delivering a mini budget in the House of Assembly. It comes on the heels of government's meeting with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, last week. And among the measures announced is a repeal of the controversial National Social Responsibility Levy, the NSRL, and that should be from July 1st. As part of her restructuring plans, Mottley also said there will be a merger of some statutory corporations. The Prime Minister says her government's goal is to reduce the island's debt to GDP ratio to 115% in the next 5 years of its rule and 85% in 10 years if given a second term to lead Barbados. Stay with us. Your midday sport is next. West Indies emphatically crushed Sri Lanka by 226 runs in the opening test yesterday and claimed their first test win over the Asian side in 10 years. Sensing victory at lunch with the tourists tottering on 222 for 7 in their second innings, the Windies wasted little time in grabbing the last 3 wickets for the addition of just 4 runs. They needed just 20 balls in the space of 13 minutes after lunch to do it, and Sri Lanka lost their last 7 wickets for 37 runs in their failed pursuit of an improbable 453 for victory. We get more in this TV6 news report.
West Indies needed 7 wickets to complete victory on the final day, but Kusal Mendes wasn't going to be denied his first Test 100 outside of the subcontinent. But Shannon Gabriel would eventually end his knock with a peach of a delivery, taking his edge. Mendes going on 102, Sri Lanka 189 for 4. And the Windies spin play of Devendra Bishu and Ruston Chase would continue the damage. Bishu with his first of 3 scalps here. Chase then struck a big blow, removing the captain Dinesh Chandimal, who resumed his inning after retiring hurt yesterday. Chase will take 4 wickets in all, getting the final 2 to spin the Windies to a massive 226-run victory, their first test victory over Sri Lanka in a decade, and a 1-0 lead in the series.
And Captain Jason Holder has pointed to West Indies' rearguard batting effort in the first innings as laying the foundation of the victory. The hosts were floundering at 147 for 5 just before tea on the opening day when Shane Dowich, who made a splendid unbeaten 125, anchored 3 key partnerships to help lift the total to 414 for 8 declared. Dowich put on 90 for the 6th wicket with Holder and 102 for the 7th wicket with tailender Devendra Bishu before crushing Sri Lanka's in a 75-run 8th wicket stand with Kimar Roach. Holder said the batsmen and bowlers put in an exceptional effort, and with West Indies having endured a humbling whitewash at the hands of New Zealand in a 2-test series last December, Holder said yesterday's victory was an ideal start to his side's test schedule for the year. And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline, but until then, do have yourselves a good afternoon.